Hi, welcome to episode 3 of TripTease podcast. And today my guest is Kate McCutcheon from Tulsa, Oklahoma. And I am coming to you from Explora Journeys. I'm actually in the Port of Curacao. And Kate just got off Explora Journeys just a few days ago. So we're going to talk about Explora Journeys, which is the newest luxury cruise line on the market. So welcome, Kate.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. How's Explora?
Well, oh my goodness. I really like it, but I also really want to talk about like what I don't like. So let's talk about all of the things. Does that sound good?
Absolutely. I think it's definitely perfect for a certain clientele. So yes, I'm excited about it.
So I got on, let me give you a little bit of a backstory. I got on board in Panama, and Kate actually disembarked in Panama. And this cruise ship is actually owned by MSC, and this is their first time diving into the luxury cruise market. This ship holds, I don't remember, like less than 1,000 people, as opposed to, I was just on Icon of the Seas in January, which holds 8,000 plus people. So this is quite the different experience. This is like apples and oranges. So I am putting my, hat on for knowing, what to expect to a certain extent. So Explora, the things that I think are really cool so far is we literally pulled up in a taxi. I'm in the Port of Curacao, and we were like stuck in traffic coming back to record this. And I like literally ran in the door. So I'm still wearing my swimsuit 4 minutes before we started recording. And the taxi pulls up to the security gate, drops us off, and we walk on the ship. Like it literally takes 1 minute to walk onto the ship. So that was quite the difference. And I'm really enjoying that aspect of it for sure.
Absolutely. I love the size of the ship personally, but I think it holds about 900. Is that accurate?
I think so. There's only about 400 on the ship with me right now.
Okay.
This ship is small. One thing that I think is really neat is all of the specialty restaurants and how they are all included. I've been obsessed with the Mediterranean restaurant. And did you try it when you were on board, Kate?
My favorite was the French, personally, but the restaurants, yes, you have to go and have the souffles. They do a different flavor of souffle every night, but we tried everything. Sakura, the Japanese, was my favorite. The sushi is amazing, but yeah, I don't
like sushi.
Oh, that's right. Well, for everyone else, try the sushi. I love that they are just beautiful, intimate little restaurants. And I learned that there is not a space on board that holds the entire capacity of the cruise ship. So it feels just more intimate and special. So I really liked that aspect of it.
That's a cool way to think about it. Mm-hmm. I'm still only a couple of days in, so I don't know if I'm like going to be able to give like the full information. That's why I wanted Kate to come on board, because she did a full sailing. So yes, I have not yet tried the French restaurant. Yeah, 8 nights. I'm only on board for 6 nights. So I really wanted to hear all about Kate's experience with Explora and then going into Cartagena. You were there overnight, and we were here in Curaçao overnight. And that's something I think is kind of cool, is that they do overnight, all the other ships left last night and our ship is still here, and we were sitting out on the deck with all the lights of Curaçao. I mean, it was pretty cool. I really like the island of Curaçao, but I've never been to Cartagena, so I want to hear about that.
Yes, I loved our itinerary. We got to overnight in Santa Marta and then Cartagena. So we got 2 full days, and it was fantastic. I am obsessed with Colombia now. Cannot wait to go back to Cartagena. We have a DMC buddy in Cartagena. DMC is a destination management company that is basically your tour guide and puts together a great itinerary, and it totally customized for us. So the first day we did, Lia and I have a mutual DMC buddy here, Vincent Wong. You have to call him by his first and last name. Vincent Wong took a group of us, and we did a full city tour, all the historic sites, and we had an incredible lunch and just bopped around town. And then we went back to the ship and got ready, and then we went out for some nightlife, which was fantastic. We went to, I think, 2 of the top 50 bars in the world. There's a
Ooh.
list. I love to check things off a list like that. So that was fabulous. The rest of my crew went back early, and I was out with my guides pretty late. I had a few hours sleep. And then we were up bright and early the next day for a 7:30 a.m. departure for a boat day. So that was another full day of fun. They took us to the Rosario Islands, which was a really cool experience.
I've never heard of that before.
Yeah, so off the coast of Cartagena, we departed. And from the harbor, there's about a 45-minute boat ride, which is a little intense. I would like to say maybe 10-foot swells, but I know that's inaccurate. But I'm just not good with the measurements there. But so we're in this little boat and just cruising along. And Vincent Wong's a talker. It was pretty chaotic with he'll tell you this. He's a talker. So I'm not one for extreme boats or activities. So I was a little stressed, kind of bracing myself on the sides of the boat there. But Vincent Wong just kept talking through it and giving us fun facts about Cartagena as we're being blanketed with water. And we, again, just chaos, but it was still fun. We had drinks and music, and there was a moment where I'm grasping the sides of the boat, being slapped in the face with blankets of water. We have our towels covering us, trying to protect ourselves. And Shakira comes on. I'm just trying to have a moment of zen and in my happy place. And Vincent Wong keeps talking. And I said, can you please just stop talking for 30 seconds and let me sing Shakira? But we made it to our first stop, which was an amazing island. And from there, you can see Pablo Escobar's, one of his abandoned mansions. And he has a sunken plane there. And you can jump off the boat and dive down. Dive? Yeah. Jump in and you can actually free dive down to it. So that was our first stop. Really fun.
And you can do that even if you're not on Explora. You could do this tour hypothetically in Cartagena, if you're staying at one of the resorts.
Exactly. We can put that together for you really easily. They took us to a really cool sandbar stop next. And another island after that, we had this really cool beach lunch. The water was just gorgeous. Fresh lobster and fish. It was a great day.
Wow. I think this destination's really up and coming. I've noticed some conferences and stuff are starting to do Colombia, and there's been some air sales. My brother just told me he booked $300 air from Dallas to Bogota in May.
Incredible.
And I'm like, Colombia. This sounds very
I know a Cartagena girls trip would be incredible. I can't wait to get back. I mean, they've got history and beautiful hotels and city. The city was just gorgeous to walk around. It's so vibrant and all the murals, and we really enjoyed it.
Oh, and you said that you saw sloths in the park. I think that would be a big draw, is the wildlife that people would get to see.
Yeah, absolutely. We have just the city park. Sloths in the trees. They had these little monkeys. They could come down and eat a banana out of your hand. It was so fun. We loved it there so much.
One thing I wanted to touch on for when you're talking about Colombia is the safety. And I know that's a big question. People make lots of little snarky jokes about Colombia, but it is a very up and coming tourist destination. But would you say that you felt safe the whole time, or would you recommend hiring someone like the DMC and having somebody go with you to the clubs and the nightlife and stuff like that?
I would say both. I felt safe the entire time. We were in our small little group, but then we saw groups of bachelorette parties, just girls that were definitely there on, a little girls trip, and staying within the city and in all the tourist areas. I did not have a single moment of concern. We were warned about pickpocketing, but things like that can just, happen in any city that you go to. It happened at home. So having the guide was really nice because there was so much we wanted to see. But Vincent Wong and our tour guide took us out to the bars that we probably wouldn't have known about, and were kind of our escorts for the night to the nightclubs when we went dancing, and they ordered for us. So that was really nice. And they made sure we got back to the ship, safe and sound. So I would recommend both. We felt really safe, and it was nice to have a guide as well.
I think the question about is it safe is always kind of annoying to me, because I'm always like, well, anywhere cannot be safe, because, even where I live in Oklahoma City, there's not safe, quote unquote, spots. but bad stuff has happened like right outside of my neighborhood at the 7-Eleven. So I think you always just have to know that, bad things happen everywhere. But having a guide, I mean, honestly, I think it sounds amazing because you can just enjoy. You don't have to have your phone out, like where are we going to go next? Let me see how I can figure out how to get there. Is this one got good Yelp reviews, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You can just go and enjoy and they can just take you around. One thing somebody said to me one time, and I thought this was brilliant and so true, is the places that you really need a guide the most are the places that they're the least expensive. So like somewhere like one time I hired a private guide and we went around Havana, Cuba, and it was so inexpensive. And I don't think Colombia guides are expensive at all. But when I've hired a private guide in Paris, it was so expensive. It was so expensive. And I was like, oh my goodness, I could have done this myself because it's Paris.
That's such a good point. Seriously, such a good point. And yes, Cartagena, the city, I mean, the food, like we've said, has been incredible. These restaurants were so fun and trendy and multiple courses and drinks. And I mean, for like $25 a person, which would be easily like over $100 meal here. So you're right on the price point. And the guides just, they're local. These were based locally and know where to take you.
Well, our next port of call is Martinique, and I've never been to Martinique. So it'll be, I think it's my 48th country. I have a list going on my phone. And I actually have zero plans. So we're just going to get off the boat, and it's a tender port. So that means that you have to take one of the little lifeboats over to shore to get to shore. But we're going to do that. But I want to talk more about the experience here on Explora. It's been really good. I would say that the service has been probably the most impressive to me. The cabin steward, oh my goodness. He knew my name from day one and is like, whatever you need. They come in and they will refresh your mini bar. Like Becky and I like Diet Coke. And I feel like every time I open my mini fridge, there's more Diet Coke in there. So that's really impressive. And the food and service, I'd say the only thing that's kind of a womp womp for me, because, I'm going to tell it like it is on this podcast, is the entertainment. The singers, they have a singer or something like that every night. And she's good. I mean, she's a really good singer. It's just a little bit low key for my personality. So I think a lot of people probably would like it. But for my personality, I'm like, and what else are we going to do? So I think that's something people need to keep in mind. If they need to be entertained every night with lots of stuff, this is not the ship. But if you go to I would probably do this again with a port heavy itinerary, because then you're going to be going, and you could enjoy the food is so good. There was Alaska king crab on the buffet, and which I was surprised they even had a buffet. I mean, I feel like that's something that's oh, that's different for a luxury cruise. Anyways, but they had stuff high dollar stuff like Alaska king crab, and then they have a lot of specialty restaurants, and then everything's included.
Absolutely. Yeah. And everything's made to order. So it's not just a go serve yourself, get a scoop of this situation. But I totally agree with you on the nightlife. And we're kind of in a different scenario. I was with a group of fellow agents. So we kind of made our own party, as we went around. So we had several people to sit and have cocktails with at night. But if it were maybe just me and my partner, your spouse, I don't know. I think it'd be a little too low key for me as well.
Yeah.
A little sleepy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They do have a casino, which I came on board thinking that there was not a casino, but I went in there last night and they just have maybe 15 slot machines and a blackjack table and a roulette table. And there was one person in there.
Did you win? Did you win anything?
I didn't play. I love to play blackjack, especially, but I mean, I like it for the energy of the casino, and it didn't have the energy. So I was like, let's
gambling
not. The minimum bet was $25.
Gambling stresses me out, so I don't like to. Too much pressure.
Oh, too much pressure.
On the spot.
Maybe I'll try it.
No, we're not. Whatever. Let's talk about what we're wearing.
So, right now I'm wearing my swimsuit because I just mean
what's the vibe? What's the vibe? Like, what are we wearing at night? We were going to talk about Nuuly rentals and all
Oh,
of our
yes, yes.
dresses.
Let's talk about that.
I think that's a good idea. Okay,
So I
ready?
will say
Go.
that it does seem like a little bit more of a casual cruise, but not crazy casual, but you don't have to have like a formal night. So I think that's something I would say in like a work mode, country club casual, where you're still dressed up, but you're not wearing like a formal ball gown. But a lot of people, I actually was watching this TikTok and it was like, why do you always have to buy new clothes to go on vacation where you're going to see a whole bunch of people that have never seen any of your other clothes? But because that's all part of the fun of planning for your trip is what clothes you're going to wear, right?
Agree.
I think Kate wins best dressed for vacation. I was so impressed with all of her pictures, and she did rental clothes. So tell us about this, because I've actually only tried it like once a long time ago and it wasn't a good experience, but you looked fabulous.
Okay, well, thank you. I really enjoy the outfit planning aspect of travel, and I'll admit I love a good photo. I love a cute dress. So instead of having to buy, what were we, 8 nights? That's 16 outfits for me, at least minimum. You should see how full my closet was. So I like to do something called Nuuly and Rent the Runways, and they are like a clothing subscription rental service. So you pay like one price, and it lets you choose however many items, and then you get to wear these like $800 dresses for basically free. Girl math.
Basically free girl math.
Yeah, but Nuuly's my favorite, and they have great resort wear because, like you said, I feel that the kind of dress code at night for women is just maybe like an elevated resort look. No formal nights, which honestly I prefer, but I do like to wear a cute dress and go to dinner. So Nuuly is great. Rent the Runway is great.
So Nuuly, when I did Rent the Runway, but this was like 5 years ago, I had to have the dress back like in 48 hours. Do you get to pick that? Okay. Like, hey, I'm on a cruise for longer?
Yeah. So Nuuly, you pick, I think, 6 items and you have a month to return it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
And they've got some great brands. And so like I wore like an $800 dress just casually to dinner and didn't have to worry about it. You don't have to launder anything. You just put it back in the box and send it right back. Easy peasy. So that's my secret for a lot of my outfits. Yes.
I think that's brilliant because everyone I noticed on your social media was commenting, I want to shop your closet. And you can shop your closet on Nuuly.com.
Yes. We'll post the link for a coupon code. We'll each get a credit.
Another thing that I thought was really great about this cruise is the spa. I've been on tons of cruise ships, and a lot of times the spas are really crowded. So when you're on a ship like this, it felt like I was more at like a luxury resort at the spa. You tried the spa too, right? Didn't you, Kate?
Totally agree. I wish I remembered his name. Precious little man from Bali. One of the best massages ever. Yes, really enjoyed myself there.
I got a massage yesterday and he was like, do you work on a laptop? And I was like, yes.
Why are you on laptop?
He was like, sit up. He had me sit up and he got up on the table and was like, it was so amazing.
Yes, I'm here for that.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me, I went to Thailand and it kind of reminded me of the Thai massage where they just really get after it.
Just really get in there. Like, have your way with me. Sure. Let's do this.
But then they also have a really nice hydrotherapy area that has like the massage water and the salt room and the ice chips and the sauna steam room, all of the things. And for a while when I was in there, we were the only people in there. So I think that was really neat. When I went on one of the major, more contemporary cruise lines, I remember just like not even being able to find a hook for my robe because there were so many people crammed in the spa. So it was quite the different experience. I felt like I was more at like a Four Seasons or a Rosewood or something like that.
Absolutely. I had a great experience. Loved the spa there.
Okay. Tomorrow I'm going to go back to the spa and I'm going to have a cream bath. I don't know if you know what that is, Kate.
I'm not familiar with that.
Not familiar. So a cream bath is where they put cream all over your hair. So it's in the salon. And I've done it one other time, and it was in 1999 when I was in Jakarta, Indonesia. And I just heard someone in the spa saying something about a cream bath. And I said, you guys have cream baths? Like, I've thought about this for 25 years now. I would say next month is my 25-year anniversary since I was in Indonesia, having this cream bath for $6 in the mall there. But anyways, you wear this little tube top, and then they pour cream and all kinds of stuff all over your head and then massage your head with, I don't even know, but I've thought about it every time I go to a spa. So I am so excited to try a cream bath at the spa here on Explora Journeys. I think it's going to be amazing. I actually saw somebody getting one done in the spa when I kind of like peeked around the corner, and I was like, oh yeah, that's me tomorrow.
Oh my gosh, that sounds amazing. My dry vacation hair would love that.
Yeah, they had quite the spa list. And I think on a lot of the bookings right now, they have a lot of incentives where you, if you're book early, because this cruise line just came out in August of 23. So it's about 6 months old, almost exactly. And there's a lot of really neat incentives where they're giving spa credits and stuff like that. And Explora 2, I mean, they're not wasting any time. Explora 2 comes out in August of 24. So in 6 months from now, just in 1 year's time, they'll have 2 ships, and they're going to be all over the Med and the Caribbean, really kind of all over the world. I noticed one of the waiters was telling us about doing their Hawaii itinerary, and they said it's 5 days at sea to get out to the islands, but they're really going to take this ship all over the world.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see. They've got, I want to say 5 ships on order. So I'm excited about it.
A big question that we've had recently is like, how much does this cost? And that question gets asked a lot on our socials with TikTok and stuff like that. And a lot of people will even ask me like, how much per night? And it doesn't work like that on a cruise, but it does kind of get priced that way when you're talking about like, obviously the shorter cruises are less expensive than the longer cruises. Just to give people like a general idea, of course, this is going to be a higher price tag than say a standard Royal Caribbean or Celebrity cruise. But I would say I would compare it. If you're going on a Celebrity cruise and you're staying in the Retreat, it's similar. Like if you're staying in the Retreat, because that's kind of like a luxury cruise ship inside of a big cruise ship, that's going to be similar. So to give people an idea, probably between $6,000 to $8,000 for like a week cruise for 2 people. But that would be in an entry level, cabin. I'm in an entry level cabin. So the cabin is still really nice. Where I'm sitting in my cabin. And this is a little sitting area. So it's kind of more like a junior suite that would be like on another cruise line. Another cruise line would call this a suite, which I guess Explora does call all of their cabins suites. So they'll say, what's your suite number? But then they just get bigger and bigger and bigger. And they even have some really neat cabins that we toured yesterday that have like jacuzzi tubs on the balconies. And there's some huge suites. They have multiple bedrooms. And one thing that I think is kind of different, because some of these like more luxury cruise lines, they don't cater to children whatsoever. And they actually have a kids club on board. Did you see that, Kate?
I did. I popped in that kids club. It's a cute little space. So I like that they are family friendly. They're never going to be a children centered cruise line, but it's nice that they're welcome.
I don't really know because I didn't ask anybody, but I think there's like 5 or 6 kids, maybe maximum, on board here, just when I've seen a few at the pool. I think they would be a little bit bored. So maybe if it was a more port intensive itinerary, it would be a good option. But they said starting at age 6, they could go in the kids club, unsupervised. You could just like drop them off at the kids club once they're age 6. And it had some little fun things in there for to do. So I think if you chose it and this is what you wanted to do with your kids, that it's an option, but it's not going to be the bells and whistles. Like their parent company, MSC, has like the water slides in the water park and all of that kind of stuff on board their ship. So this is definitely going to be a lot more quiet with kids, but yeah, a lot more quiet. But if a group, I think that's a good point. I think this is perfect if you come with a small group on Explora Journeys, because I saw so many people like dining in like groups of like 8 and 10 people in the restaurants, and I was kind of jealous. I was like, ooh, they look like they're having a great time. The Mediterranean restaurant, they served things like family style, and they came and I ordered the Dover, and they deboned it table side. It was so impressive. I was like, I mean, I don't think I could do that at home, at all.
I was so impressed with the restaurants and the service, that aspect. And the food was so good. Really, really good food.
Yeah, the food has been really, really good. I've been impressed. Actually, we walked around Curaçao last night and I thought, we're going to eat somewhere local. And we wandered around. And I think the locals didn't maybe get the memo that there's going to be a cruise ship in port and you should stay open because almost everything was closed. And then all the restaurants looked kind of like, meh. I mean, they were probably fine, but I was like, we have like really good food on the ship. We should just go back on board. And that's what we did.
Honestly.
Well, thanks everyone for listening. And thank you to Kate McCutcheon. She is a Vincent Vacations independent agent with us. Kate, please share how people can get a hold of you.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. This was so fun. I am Kate McCutcheon Travels on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok.
And you can also email her at Kate, Kate at vincentvacations.com. And make sure you tune in and subscribe our next podcast. And I'm going to talk about Sandals, which is the Sandals Dunes River is the newest one in Jamaica. And then I also spent the day today in Sandals, Curaçao. So I'm going to compare and contrast the two Sandals. Those are actually the newest two resorts that they have in their resort group. And then they have the newest one that opens at the end of March, which is in St. Vincent, which is so exciting, especially with, of course, the name Vincent Vacations. So we would love to bounce off of that. You can follow us, Vincent Vacations, on Facebook and Instagram and, of course, TikTok. Thanks, Kate. And I can't wait to travel with you. See you in Oklahoma.
Thanks, Lia. I hope I see you soon.